Peace and bright blessings, guys. It's your Queen of Spades coming at you. Today we're going to do another reading on the Clarence versus Anita. Um, Clarence is like a Supreme Court judge, and Anita, she's a writer. She has created many different programs based around what she experienced in this case, in this situation, teaching and educating others on, um, how to stand in your power, stand in your truth when these different situations take place. And she goes and she talks, she has interviews, she talks with um, children in school, all types of different things. So, without further ado, let's get into this reading because I have some questions. Even though this case took place some decades ago, I'm very curious about it. It actually popped up in my feed on YouTube, and I was like, I've never heard of this case before. So I have some questions about it. Okay, first one is Clarence. I think his name is Clarence Thomas. I forget Anita's last name. Is Clarence a narcissist? That's a yes. Was and is Anita a narcissist? Okay, that's a no. You know what? I actually, okay, forgot to cleanse my cards from the last reading. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so where were we? Ah, tarot cards. Okay. Initially, what was Clarence's most authentic feelings towards Anita? Spirit, what was Clarence's most authentic feelings towards Anita initially? Give me a 3-card pull, please. Oh, goodness, Spirit. Hold on, guys. Okay, back, guys. All right, all these cards fell. Okay, so I took like the first 3 or 4 till Spirit told me to stop. So the first card that popped out was the Knight of Cups. Okay. Next card that popped out was the Princess of Cups in reverse. Okay. Then next, the Seven of Cups. Wait a minute. Yeah, Seven of Cups. 2 of Cups. Okay. And the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So he saw her as another possible opportunity. It's very close to wish fulfillment energy, except that the Seven of Cups represents like an illusion that this person is a wish fulfillment or another opportunity. Um, yeah, it's like it's like imagination, wishful thinking. So he wanted Anita to be that Princess of Cups. He saw her as possibly being able to be that to him, with him coming in as the Knight of Cups energy. But Anita was never interested in him, from my understanding, based off of um, the couple of interviews that I've seen. She was not interested in him on a romantic level. And she made that very plain to him, from my understanding, based off of the interviews I watched. We're going to find out today exactly what happened. Um, but yeah, so he really wanted her, them to be together. Um, yeah, he really wanted them to get to know each other and be together based off of the Two of Cups. He wanted something romantic with her. Um, and he's thinking they're both working together. They can be making money together and also become, lovers as well. Um, but yeah, initially, he did see her as a potential opportunity for um, a lover or partner. Yeah. So that was his initial thoughts towards Anita. Okay. Initially, what was Anita's most authentic thoughts and feelings towards Clarence? Spirit, please give me a three-card pull. No. No. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so the first that popped out was the Two of Swords. Okay. Next that popped out was the Magician. Then the World. Okay. And the Tower. Okay. So initially, she looked at this business relationship as just that, a business relationship. Um, she saw this, uh, yeah, she saw this as a great opportunity, the job that she was, initially working under him at. But at the same time, she also felt that he was trying to compel her to be something that she was not interested in being to him. Um, yeah, I feel like there were two different ideas, two different communication styles, two different ways of perceiving and understanding. And, she thought that by the magician card, she could just kind of, you know, use this job to manifest the kind of money flow that she was really desirous of having, um, to secure herself with. Um, by her having the type of money flow that she had on this job, she felt like she had the world in the palm of her hands. But she felt like working with him was like one big calamity. Like the energy that she felt where he particularly was concerned, not the job or the finances, but where he particularly was concerned. Yeah. She felt like he was like a walking calamity. Like she didn't like she didn't like his overall energy of flirting with her and coming on to her. Um, yeah. She felt that he had a weakness which he was showing to her by repetitively coming to her, asking her out. She saw that there was a weakness within him that would eventually possibly be his undoing. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. Next is a pendulum. Okay. Okay. So with Clarence, now about to become Anita's senior, um, at this, well, he was her senior, with, you know, he had more tenure at this job and a higher ranking position. But then at some point, he was heading over to be a Supreme Court judge, and he offered Anita more pay to be like his secretary as he became the Supreme Court judge, which um, at first I believe Anita said she turned it down because he just kept coming at her, trying to get her to go out with him, and he made her feel uncomfortable. But she did need the money, so eventually she agreed, and he kept trying to get her to go out with him, from my understanding, based off of the interview I saw. And yeah, it totally made her feel uncomfortable. And eventually he kind of stopped, trying to persuade her to go out with him, which, the whole thing, like his energy was creepy to me. Um, because clearly she did not feel the same way. And clearly she wasn't even attracted. So, you know, okay, so let's see. Was she offered a job with Clarence, with him being her senior with more tenure? So that's a yes. Did Clarence ask Anita out at some point? That's a yes. Did Anita decline the offer? That's a yes. Did Clarence continue to ask Anita out repetitively over time? So that's a yes. Did Anita continue to decline his offers? That's a yes. Did Anita tell Clarence that she would rather continue to remain in a business professional relationship? Strictly. That's a yes. Okay. Did Clarence then try to bring up conversations to Anita concerning porn and his favorite sexual preferences? That's a yes. Hmm. Did Clarence insist on Anita having lunch or dinner with him? That's a yes. Did Anita decline these offers as well? So that's a yes also. Did Anita express to Clarence that she felt it unprofessional to meet outside of work, like for lunch and dinner? So that's a yes also. Did Clarence continue to bring up conversations about porn and his sexual preferences despite Anita expressing feeling uncomfortable having these types of conversations with him? And that's a yes also. I believed her. Did Clarence then make it so that business meetings that initially took place at work in the office space, did he make it so that now meetings had to happen with Anita at his lunch or dinner times and breaks? And that's a yes. Um, he made it so that those meetings would have to take place at the cafeteria at work. That's a yes. Nearby restaurants. And that's a yes. She said he kept asking her to go out to lunch and to dinner with him. She kept declining. And so, after some months of her declining, he decided to start scheduling like the business meetings that would usually take place in office around his lunch and dinner times. He'd make it so that she would end up ultimately having to go out to lunch or dinner with him, which is, yeah, it is psychotic, actually. um, because he just would not take the hint. He wouldn't. That's crazy. Um, did Clarence offer Anita a higher paying job under him as he was about to become a Supreme Judge? That's a yes. Did Anita decline? That's a no. Did Clarence repetitively violate Anita with sexual harassment over time? That's a yes. Did he then tell her after the last time that if someone was to find out about his conversations about porn and repetitive accounts of sexual harassment towards Anita, that from Clarence, that it would be bad for him where his job was concerned? That's a yes. Was that a threat to Anita? Hmm. That's a yes. So this man was already married to another woman, um, the same time that he was advancing on Anita. Um, and she was not aware, but her response to the situation. was creepy too. They belong with each other. Um, okay, was Clarence's wife saying to the press that Anita was just in love with her husband, Clarence, a form of damage control? That's a yes. Did Clarence's wife call Anita and leave several messages telling her she's basically lying on her husband Clarence and to withdraw her statements against him? That's a yes. That's harassment. They both just have no boundaries, cross all boundaries, and have no chill. Um, they both like to harass people, I see. Um, yeah, how was he allowed to get away with this and still become a supreme judge? How was Clarence allowed to get away with this, Spirit? Three card pull, please. How was Clarence allowed to get away with this? Mm, yeah. So Queen of Swords popped out, which I feel that's his wife's energy. King of Wands popped out. That's definitely Clarence's energy. And the Four of Cups popped out as well. So it was basically because his wife was doing a lot of damage control. And I saw part of the case, um, not the case, but well, yeah, the case. I saw part of when they were in trial, and he was like, this is the lynching of another black man. Like, what? Really? Like, and they ate that. They ate that and decided to still make him a supreme judge, despite this woman coming with multiple accounts of sexual harassment. And at the time, Joe Biden, go figure, was presiding over the case. Like, that just tells me and confirms for me that a lot of the people in these high positions basically are crooked and they cover for each other. There's no way they couldn't have known that that was a ploy that he was putting on. And there's no way that under normal circumstances they wouldn't have investigated that situation further to make sure of if this woman was telling the truth against this man or not. Mm, makes a lot of sense. Three of Cups popped up. It felt like she was used to him being in situations where, it'd be him and others celebrating his success versus people holding him accountable for his actions and pointing out his wrongs and, basically just turning a blind eye to his actions and allowing him to continue to move forward without any repercussions or having to answer for or, take any type of accountability for any of his actions in this situation at all. And probably many others before this situation and after, because that type of behavior, like, it's really creepy behavior and it doesn't just go away. So the other women probably saw what Anita went through and decided not to say anything because this woman this woman was like made to look crazy for no reason. She was telling the truth the whole time, the whole entire time. That's crazy. Okay. What is Anita's overall outcome after this situation? What is Anita's overall outcome? Give me a 3-card pull, please, Spirit. Mhm. Okay, so the first one that popped out was the Ten of Wands. This whole situation was burdensome for her at first. She had to find ways to get past it. The Queen of Wands popped out next. She still remained a fully functioning and, um, normal woman who had, went on to, I'm sure, date and have other relationships. She was a beautiful woman. She still is. And I did this reading because she is up in age now and she deserves for someone to know that she was telling the truth and to know that people support her in her truth despite her not receiving justice and people not paying attention to her truth where this case was concerned. Um, you know, and I felt like she needed to have have it known to her, whether energetically or just in reality, that people believe her. There's people out here who believe her. She was the hermit for a while. She just kind of stayed to herself. Meanwhile, she's enduring all this onslaught of ridicule and, people criticizing her. They got so much to say about her. And did she lie? Did she try to bring this man down? You know, it's crazy. Like there are black men out there who actually are innocent of the crimes that they've been accused of, and you want to sit here and say, if you all believe her, this is the lynching of another black man. no, this is not the lynching of another black man. You're a creep, and justice should have been served where you were concerned. So since we couldn't depend on the judicial system to serve you justice, you can't talk your way out of getting served justice at the hands of God. You can't. You can't stop that. There's no amount of convincing in the world that you can do, because the divine God sees all, knows all. You can lie, you can cheat, you can steal, or just overall do all types of craziness to any and everybody and think you're getting away with it. And you're not getting away. You really are not getting away. Um, wow. And then the last card that popped up was the Queen of Pentacles. And she became that as life went on. She started delving into more projects, um, to help, people who are in uncomfortable positions and situations be able to know that they're not wrong for wanting to defend themselves or speak up for themselves. Eight of Cups popped out. And the Magician. Yeah, she basically ended up manifesting the life that she desired to have in the end. Yeah, she went through a death and rebirth. That's the Death card. And she said, she really didn't want, like, the story was crazy. Like, she was saying that they kept coming to her. Like, once Clarence was announced to possibly be, like, Supreme Court judge, um, for the, goodness, there's the Democrats and there's the Republicans. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Yeah, the he was going to be a Supreme Court judge for the Republicans, the Republican side. So the Democrats, a few of them started like doing what they always do, Democrats and Republicans, when a judge or someone comes into position on either side, the opposing side starts looking up, dirt on that person to see if they can convince like the majority, not to bring that person in because of this, that, and the other. So they started looking up Clarence Thomas, and to see if he had any dirt on him in the past. And they found an old harassment report that Anita had made on him sometime before that. And so they came to her, they were calling her, they were like, we need to talk to you, there's this harassment thing in the system. Clarence is about to become, another Supreme Court judge, and we need your help with this. Can you tell us about the harassment, report that you made about him and this, that, and the other? And at first she was like, I'm in a stable place in my life. Like, I'm not trying to rock the boat. But they were like, we just need to know like who this is coming into office. The people deserve to know this, that, and the other. So she said they just kept calling her, kept coming at her, if you could help us to not make this man, a Supreme Court judge with the truth, about harassment and this, that, and the other, we need to hear it. So at some point she was like, okay, I'll agree to tell y'all about the harassment, if this doesn't go public, if this just stays, in the confines of the mock, you know, courtroom or jury room that we'll be in having this discussion, then fine. But I don't want to be made a spectacle out of this, that, and the other. So they're like, okay, yeah, we promise. I would have never trusted them. but she didn't really have a choice. If she was going to tell her truth, this was the moment to do it. So she gets in court, and they're asking her all types of like um questions that are more so like kind of like very chauvinistic questions, like, so you know at this point in time, why are you wanting to report this now? And she's like, well, I didn't want to report anything. They came to me and asked me to come forth about this. And they're like, so he continued to he asked you out on a couple of dates. And so by your definition of harassment, that's harassment. Like, the way that they were handling her was totally, totally out of pocket. It should have never been allowed to happen. They should have never been allowed to question her in such a tone and in such a manner. And it should have been checked, it should have been stopped. She was totally disrespected and disregarded. And I felt so bad for her because she actually was telling the truth, and you could tell that she was telling the truth. But they were doing their best to try to dissuade and discourage her from telling the truth of the matter and what had actually taken place. They were trying so hard to discourage her from doing it. They came off utterly disrespectful, and I didn't like their tone. I didn't like their tone in the way that they thought that it was okay for them to speak to her in such a manner. And I didn't like that nobody would stop this and stand in her defense against this happening. It was just crazy. So it was just crazy. I was like, I want to find out the ins and outs of this case. Because if this woman is telling the truth, they ought to all be ashamed of themselves. They ought to all be ashamed of themselves, biting and all. But why would he be shameful with all that he's in the media about today? Um, what is Clarence's outcome? Give me a 3-card pull, please, Spirit. It's crazy. It's popped out twice. Oh, makes sense. Thank you, Spirit. First card that popped out is Death. Next card that popped out, 3 of Pentacles. Next card that popped out, King of Cups. Last card that popped out, Judgment. He will have to answer for his actions. I know he thinks that he got away with it, but he didn't. God sees all. Even when you think that nobody is looking or nobody can record your actions and verbalizations, or there's nobody around that would report you, or there's nobody around that would, agree that your actions and your verbalizations are off and wrong. Even after all that, God still sees all. And you can't convince him that you didn't do what he or she is witnessing you doing in your life. You can't convince God that you're not doing what you're doing. And he will have to answer for that. I feel bad for him. because if he hasn't answered for it already, he will have to. And that judgment day is not going to be pretty for him because he lied and he deceived and he manipulated the system to make it look like this woman was lying on him when he, in fact, was the liar the whole time. Okay. What is Clarence's wife's outcome? What is Clarence's wife's outcome? Give me a 3-card pull, please, Spirit. What is Clarence's wife's outcome? Mm, no? Okay. Mm, no? Okay. No? Okay. The sun is in reverse. Okay. The Hermit. Eight of Swords. Yeah. She's going to get hers too. Especially for calling and harassing that lady, talking about, um, you're lying on my husband. Um, you need to withdraw your statements and tell everybody that you were lying and in love with him. Ain't nobody in love with that thing but her. And it just is unbelievable. Like that she had to lie to herself and convince herself that, yeah, that must be what it is. You want my husband, don't you? Like, no. Nobody wants him but you. Nobody. Like that was ridiculous. Like she put that woman through even more trauma than she went through in the courts. And then when they didn't preside over the case and determine that he was guilty, someone leaked the whole court testimony and case to the public. And so then everybody knew about the case. And this woman, Anita, was never protected. She was thrown to the wolves and then thrown out with the trash. And none of them ever cared how it affected her life, how it affected, the different areas of her life moving forward. You know, see, lies are dangerous, but in the end, the person who tells them gets theirs. They always do. And so, if he thought that he was going to get away with this, if he thought that he was going to get by without anyone ever, checking in on this case, you've got another thing coming, brother. Yeah, and his wife, for knowing that he repetitively um, cheats on her with different people and sexually harasses them, and her only response is, "You must be in love with my husband. She gonna get hers too." That's crazy. But they're perfect for each other. Him and his wife. Yeah, Anita's gonna come out victorious in the end. Seven of wands. She's going to come out victorious. Okay. That's crazy. Okay. Let's see. Is Anita at peace in her life at this point in time? That's good. That's a yes. Will Anita receive justice in her favor? God says, oh yeah. Oh yes, she will. That's a yes. Yeah. Okay. And so that is all the questions that I have for this reading on Clarence versus Anita. I have no words. It's just it's really crazy and ridiculous that people will do things like him and his wife did and think they won't have to answer for it. Everybody, everybody has to answer for something, you know. And if it's nothing you have to answer for, then that's great. Congratulations. But if you are a liar and deceiver and manipulator, you're going to get yours one way or the other, whether it's throughout the course of your life or on your deathbed. But you will have your judgment day, and your whole life will flash before your eyes, and you will be shown by the divine all that you've done with your life. And then you will be told of the repercussions that are to follow. Why do things like that and think that being sneaky, being conniving, deceptive, it only is a temporary fix? You've got to like answer for not only what you did, but you got to repeat all your lessons that have to do with, whatever you did to lie, deceive, manipulate. You've got to repeat those lessons over in life. I feel I feel really bad for those who have to go through that. I mean, it's just horrible. It pays to be a good person. It really does. It pays to be a good person. It pays to be a truth teller. And it pays to live an authentically happy life. You know, one thing people like this have an issue with is being truthful with themselves. And so, because they can't be completely truthful and authentic with themselves, naturally they can't help but lie to others too. And it's unfortunate because you can do all that, but it's not going to stop what's coming to you at the end of the day. So, is it worth it? It's up to you. All right, my royals, that's all I have on the Clarence versus Anita reading. And yeah, definitely comment down below. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace and bright blessings.